I need help, boss.
Stands up and says it louder. He goes, I have a really big penis.
We're the NSAA. We're never serious about anything except grip ball.
I have drifted an aircraft carrier.
What?
To an extent, but you'll be out there alone as fuck. There's no.
Just bumping into people by osmosis of dopeness, you know?
3, 2, 1. We're rolling.
Welcome, everybody, to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. It's your host, Kemper Woodruff. I have the very powerful Zachary Sampson in the house yet again, and always a meat fortress. And then we have the boy wonder himself, Josh Taylor. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is round 2 of this podcast due to some
3.
technical difficulties, 2 or 3, I don't know. But we got it all fired up, and what we were talking about initially was immersion, and really how if you immerse yourself in the study of anything, the results that you see come quick, and especially if you're like enjoying yourself, you know, just choosing something that you love and just going, I'm just going to see what's up with that. And like this year of my life is just going to be dedicated to like that at the forefront of like my goals, and really kind of just looking at rounding out your life in a way that's balanced enough because it's spread out enough, you know?
Yeah.
A year is enough time where you can make this change in your lifestyle and kind of wire it in, you know, while learning and honing some area or craft or skill that you want, you know? And I just think it's an interesting concept.
I have a hard time doing that with most things. But I seen it firsthand when it was probably this time last year. Within like the last year, my progress in the gym, physically, strength wise, has exponentially went up because of I found a lot of new ways to learn things about it. I didn't see what he was doing because I was looking at a different part of my screen, so I missed it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So
I didn't really miss anything.
I've learned a lot about going to the gym because I've immersed myself into it, and I found better ways to do it. I got a trainer for a few months, and so that is like the most obvious example of what you're talking about. But at the same time, I have a hard time doing that with anything else. And I guess the only other thing that I've really done it with is like self-improvement. But it's hard because like I don't have, I'll be real, and to me it's kind of sucks to have to say it. I don't have very many passions, right? So like I don't have that many things that I love fucking doing, you know? So like I love working out. I love making videos, content, documentaries, creating shit. But as far as anything else goes, that's pretty much it. So when it comes to like immersing myself into learning new things, it's really hard because a lot of things don't really speak to me like that. And so there's also that part of it too.
I've kind of just started to look at it like, what do I want to do? Like, what's something I want to learn about?
Yeah.
Let's just start there. You know, whether I love it or hate it, you know, there's no right or wrong in changing course if you know way ahead of time, hey, I don't like doing this. And don't spend a year of your life doing it. But if you find, hey, I'm pretty fucking good at this, and the more I do it, the more interested I get, you know?
Yeah.
The more fun I get to have with it. You know, some things are just good for the dynamic of thought, you know, like the way that they make you look at a situation to problem solve it. And, you know, some things are a little more lighthearted, some things you got to be a little more clinical. And so you can look at skills that you want to develop kind of out of that within yourself. Like, who am I becoming by doing this? and then go and try it. And if you like it, you know, your gym analogy is like a perfect example because it's like find mentorship, observe.
Yeah.
I recommend observing first, you know,
Oh
get a
yeah.
baseline of what you can understand in like a rudimentary sense, you
Yeah.
know, and be completely open to correction. And then in doing that, it's almost like your mentor just finds you.
For
Naturally,
real.
you're led to it. You know, you can find it just you're observing might make you be like, huh, I'm going to look on the internet. You know, I'm going to go to YouTube and YouTube some shit about it. Then you're watching like a seminar because you went down a rabbit hole and you're like, whoa, that was really interesting. All right. And it might just seem like kind of a one off podcast thing. But then you wind up talking to somebody and it seems like they are on that same wavelength as the podcast that you were watching, you
Yeah.
know, or might have something complementary to what you learned from that, where you can kind of fact check it using that podcast and go, oh, that made sense over here, makes sense over here. And it kind of gives you this way to jump multiple steps um, just by standing on the shoulders of other people's knowledge, you know?
Yeah. And that's always been like um for a lot of different people, there's this idea that um you have to give something in order to get something. And in a lot of
Mm,
cases that's true. But when it comes to knowledge, I think it should be free. Personally, right? And I get and I'm not shitting on people who fucking capitalize on their knowledge, right? It's a thing. Do it if you can, right? But I think that people should be more willing to give out knowledge for free because when you have someone even 6 months more knowledgeable about something than you are, that person can
mm,
help propel you so much further, so much faster than they experienced. This is like another gym example of that is like if you have a really experienced gym guy helping out someone who's new in the gym, well, that new gym person is going to explode because they have all the fucking years of experience that this guy has, and he's just giving it to him. He's telling him what's wrong, what's right, how to do this the best way, how to find what's best for you, and without having to do any trial and error like this guy had to. Now you can just fucking get right on the path and fucking just go. It's fucking
mhm.
amazing. If it's like if Ferrari told you exactly how to build a Ferrari and didn't ask for anything in return, and then automatically you built a fucking Ferrari and you're fucking gone.
Nipsey Hussle said it so good. He said, I peep game in your demonstration, you know? Like I just watched you demonstrate, you know,
Yeah,
your whole philosophy. So like you don't have to outright tell me if I just observe you, you know. And an interesting thing since we're just sticking on the gym subject right now. It's interesting to watch someone do their exercise and then also watch their demeanor just when they're not exercising. You know,
yeah, for
walking
real,
around the gym and seeing people who's super technical versus who's kind of sloppy, and then you kind of just observe and you're like, oh shit, that kind of correlates, and you can see it in just different things. It might
for
be,
real.
you know, how they put their ensemble together, or if they have a bag and it's situated, if they brought their own shaker, or if there's someone that buys something. You know,
For real.
there's all different walks of life. You know, some people just trying to stay on their path.
Yeah. The gym is like it's funny because so like and I get like a lot of fucking gyms are probably intimidating. But if you walk into like most commercial gyms, you'll see a dude wearing jeans in there at some point. Like you're going to see it. You're gonna see a dude wearing his work attire to go work out, and it's like that's the type of shit that you'll see in a commercial gym. And for me, that's like, well, I mean, it's I don't know. It to me,
There's a
it's like
story behind.
don't be afraid of going into the fucking gym because you're gonna see someone who's just fucking doing their thing. That's all it
Yeah.
is, and no one's fucking work looking at you. And I've seen so many videos like there's there's these big strong dudes in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be doing like bench press with like 405 pounds, but for them it's kind of easy weight, so they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So what they'll do is they'll like do a couple reps, and then they'll act like they failed, and they'll just sit the 405 pounds on their chest and look around, and then the video says, "See, nobody's looking at you," and no one comes to like help them get the bar off of them. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Look, nobody's looking at me bench 405 pounds. No one's gonna look at you in your weird sweater. So just go fucking work out, you loser." Like, like that's not really. You're not a loser, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you do have anxiety, like you were saying, you can see the people who know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have anxiety about going to the gym and shit, get on a fucking stair climber like you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's at the back of the gym, and it's the tallest machine in the gym.
Yeah,
You can
just
see
be-
everybody. Look and
Yeah.
find the people that look like they know what they're doing. Watch them do what they're doing, and then mimic that when you decide to actually go lift weights.
Yeah, I observe a lot, bro, because I get on there and I do like an hour-long program. Like
Yeah.
it might be
Uh-huh.
interval, it might be hill climbing, performance stuff. And so as I'm just kind of doing it, get the blood flowing, and I'm watching people, I'll look at like how they interact with their friends. If it's someone that I see in there all the time,
Yeah.
because I go in a similar-ish time frame, earlier, like early afternoon.
Yeah.
Uh, I see the same people a lot of times, and I'll be like, huh, what are their like? Are they consistently this person? Are they
Mhm.
consistently happy?
Yeah.
You know, are they consistently with their friend every time? And I started to notice that pattern, and it really all comes back to a reflection of just immersing yourself. But it's interesting because I've said this before about not just, and this goes back to that giving and receiving thing that you're saying, not just looking at what you get out of it,
Mhm.
like going to the gym just because I get to look better or something, right? It's
Yeah.
like, it changes once you start giving to the situation. And that leap happens once you're present. And I think that's part of what exercise does, because that breath and that chi flow is naturally being sent to the base of your body when you do like cardio or when you're breathing with full lungs. And that mindfulness of being in your body while you're doing this, does this feel right? Does it feel off? you
Yeah.
know it helps you to be very present, and it just translates in all areas of your life.
The gym is an amazing place. I'll say that for sure, because it's changed my life in so many ways. It's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And probably within like the last 6 months, I've gotten to the point where I'm extremely happy with how I look. I know
Mm-hmm.
I've like told you that a bunch of times, but I'm really happy with it. And like, so I'm 5'7", 185. And that's pretty big for 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
And I was pushing 195 at one point, probably close to 200. And now at 185, if I flex in the mirror, I've got abs like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I've got fucking, the obliques are just fucking there. I'm just like fucking, yeah, I'm fucking massive. And so the gym has really made a super big like mental impact on me. But because of all of, like, we'll go back to the immersion part, all of the immersion within the last year, I was able to get to the point I'm at now. Before, I wasn't really, I didn't really understand what the fuck I needed to do to make certain changes in my body. I didn't know how to do, like, for a long time, and I've told a lot of people this, for a long time, I never really fully understood the concept of progressive overload. Right? And as soon as I learned that, I was like, oh, okay. So every 8 weeks, you can say 8 weeks. That's usually what I do. You start at a low weight, and every week add 5 pounds to the bar
Mm-hmm.
for main compound movements and certain other movements and muscle groups and stuff like that. Always try and add weight. And at the end of that 8 weeks, it should be really hard. And then after that 8 weeks, take a week where you go super light or don't even work out at all, and then start the whole process over. And that right there is literally just a dumbed down version of progressive overload. There's like different forms of it and stuff. But once I learned that, I was like, oh shit, started doing it. And I started seeing fucking results in strength and fucking just size and stuff like that. And so fucking learning shit. The gym's just amazing, is my point.
I think I had a very different gym experience than you because, like, when I was younger, I got into the gym because of my friend Gunner, and because when he started like boxing and training and stuff, he got me into it, and so we would run over to Mount Scott and literally just like run up there and then go and hit the weight room, and that was probably when I was in like 7th, going into 8th grade, and throughout 8th grade, right? Um, and then I felt like I was way ahead of the curve because no one was really like hitting weights super tough in 8th grade except for our homie Daniel. Shout out to
Yeah.
Daniel Bowers. Debo went crazy hard. Like, he was a chubby kid and then just got skinny. Like, I was like, yo, salute him. But other than him, nobody was on that shit. So I was like ahead of the curve. And, I've always been confident in my abilities in terms of what I was doing, especially in regards to my peers,
Yeah.
right? And this is kind of where I want to highlight that because that's where things start to break down. That's what all this hinges on, right? So then I get into high school. And when I'm in high school, I've always been friends with people of all different groups, but a lot of my friends were jocks, and there were a lot more people added into my perspective, when you go into the weight room in high school, especially because that's such a like disparagement in terms of your body maturity,
Yeah.
between 14 and like 17, 18, right? And I don't know, it seems different now, like kids look younger, but when I was when I showed up to high school, there were dudes with full fucking beards, looked like they could have been like 32.
Dude, same.
You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? So like when I went in the weight room, bro, I got anxiety. It just started happening to me naturally because I'd be doing my shit and I was having fun. I'd get into it, but then I'd be like, damn, that motherfucker's strong, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of also was always on the go,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was always way more mobile than a lot of my friends. And because I kicked it with cool people. So they were the type of people where it's like, no, you got to come over to my house. So I was always going house to house to house to house. So I was cool with everybody. But yeah, some of my friends were lifting crazy weight,
Mm-hmm.
really early, and it just gave me this like insecurity. And it wasn't until this car accident stuff and trying to repair my back and rehab my body where was I like cool with progressive, incremental progress because I had to be,
Yeah.
you know? And that was the first time I gave myself permission. And that's why I became extra observant, because I've always been a student of the craft, more from outside edge than a super focused, dedicated, like regiment. But my grandpa was a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always talking nutrition. My dad was really into nutrition, always exercising. So I was into checking out people's forms, how people did things, how they would set up their system. Because there's a lot that you can learn from that.
For
And
real.
like, what the hell is this person's goal? That's actually kind of a funny thing to explore when you see some people using machines at the gym sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this person's fucking goal right now?
Especially if they're doing it in a really wacky way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw I saw this couple yesterday, and they're on the machines where each one has a side, right?
Yeah.
So each of them grab this shit and they pull back, so they're leaning like 45-degree angle, and they're looking at each other going, like as quick as they
Bro,
can,
what?
and it looks so dirty and just so hilarious. I'm fucking cracking up.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
I couldn't get enough of it.
Dude, you'll have people on the like ab machines like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
there's one dude that'll get on the tricep push down, like tricep dip machine, and he'll
Yeah.
go
Oh, these
he'll do the whole
oh,
weight. He'll do all of the weight on
yeah.
the fucking thing and just go. Or with the fucking like lat pull downs, they'll go all the way up and then they'll swing it back and not even really be doing anything.
Dude,
They're
I
just
don't get
swinging
how
it.
I don't get how people don't get hurt from doing that. They'll be like straight up all those scooted back like
Yeah, I
just
don't
like
know.
air thrust in that bar, dude.
It's funny.
I don't
It's
know.
funny to
I don't know.
see people who
I don't
don't
want to
fully
stray
understand.
too far away from the topic of this immersion kind of thing and like nerding out on something.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so much power in having that passion.
Yeah, we kind of went from the topic of people don't get watched in the gym to we are making fun of them.
Yeah, we
No, well,
totally
I wasn't saying
no,
that. Well, it's a
well,
great that's a
no,
great way to fucking completely destroy everything we just said. So thanks, Josh. But
well,
Sorry.
I was trying to wrap it back around. I was trying to wrap it back around into the immersion thing by saying it's cool to watch people who don't fully understand and then imagine where they're gonna be when they fucking actually learn like, hey, you're
My
doing
bad.
that kind of wrong. And then they
well,
they
I
completely
talked too
180
soon.
and then they start fucking making crazy
Yeah.
progress.
It is cool. I mean, I will admit there are people that like not I don't talk to the people that be like on the ab machines doing that and like
well, it's
the
hard to
dip
get a break.
machines.
You know,
But
they
I mean
don't take a break.
there are people I will like I've talked to and like will be like, "Oh, like what's your goal?" and try and help them out. I mean, I ain't like some big
I
macho man like Zack, but
No, I
hey,
just think that there's something to being a student, you know, like the position of
yeah.
being a student is such a like liberating thing
I mean,
because there's no right or wrong. It's like you're just learning.
yeah.
For real.
Me and Zach were talking about this like a few days ago. Like people are afraid of doing new things because they know they're a beginner, and I mean they're just scared of like not
Looking
knowing what they're
stupid.
doing. Yeah,
Yeah, people are afraid of looking stupid. And that's human nature. Most people will not go out of their bubble because complacency destroys dreams. And it's like being comfortable is what ruins everything. It ruins everything because when you're
You know,
comfortable,
man.
when you're fucking comfortable, you get out of or you stop wanting things because you've got everything you need because you're comfortable. And people are afraid to fail, and that's also another reason as to why they don't want to fight out of the comfort zone. They don't want
See,
to keep moving forward and
I
progressing and
think it's
shit.
more convoluted answer or like deeper subject than that, you know, because I don't think it's that they're complacent. I think some people don't even know what to do, what avenue to go down.
Well,
And
okay, let's just say that the people that do know, like not even like these are people I'm saying they're doing this shit unconsciously, right? Like
yeah,
they are so content with where their life is that they don't try new things. And when they think about trying new things, they don't because they're like, well, I'm gonna suck at it anyway. So why not? Why be uncomfortable with that when I could be comfortable where I'm at?
well, what I was gonna finish with, if you were to let me finish, was that um, I think we get away from suffering gracefully. It's something that my friend Matt Schulman said to me. Like I was doing horse stance in the park when he was teaching some like Tai Chi stuff, and uh, he just goes suffer gracefully, and had us doing these like squats for like 5 minutes at a time,
Hmm.
you know, and your legs are shaking, and there's something about that when you just mentally are like, I'm not gonna stand up, even though that would make this easier right now. I'm just gonna sit here while it's kind of sucking, but it's not like unbearable right? Because my
Yeah.
body isn't collapsing. I'm doing this, right? So it's just this uncomfortable feeling that you can be comfortable through when you realize you're more than just your body, you're more than the physical circumstances that you're navigating, right? And that's why I was saying this immersion thing is really a concept, like a structure, a formula that you can apply to any area of life. And it really comes down to like being willing to immerse yourself is you have to be willing to have incremental progress. You have to be willing to kind of suffer a little bit for it.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's a bad thing, right? You take away the good or bad connotation from it, the timelines, restrictiveness, performance aspects, and just look at it as like data and like
It's
getting
just a
better.
thing.
Yeah, just wanting to
Yeah.
interact
You want to know
with
what's funny?
subject.
That's a subject of stoicism, or like an aspect of stoicism. Is like everything is kind of just, it just is, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you're gonna suck at it, but everybody else who first started sucked at it. It's just a thing, and you can't avoid it. You can't get around it, and so you may as well just fucking do it.
This is probably the weirdest thing is when you start talking to people that you really, really admire and really look up to, and realize like you feel super underqualified. And yet, when I'm talking to this person, we're carrying a conversation and we're interested in the same kind of things, you
Hmm.
know? And just because of that, and us kind of nerding out on a similar topic, although we learned it in two totally separate ways, gives us the ability to have this like rich connection and dialogue
Yeah.
in terms of like mentor to student. It's really like that evaporates. We're student to student, mentor to mentor, peer to peer, you know, because I just dedicated so much. And what I lack in experience is where that that's where it's like you teach me, but I'm just kind of learning. So when I get there, I'm gonna figure out my way. I'm never gonna do it your way, but I'll have enough game that I'm like, all right, I'll be able to navigate that.
Yeah. That's that's kind of what, I mean, we can go back to the gym thing again. That's kind of what it's like when you're in the gym, cuz you can have, like, for example, um like a mentor in the gym, or a gym bro that just knows more, right? And he gives you advice, and then once you have that advice, you can use it. But what happens is everyone will get advice from somewhere, and then they'll adapt it to their own philosophy. Like, everybody, legit, almost everybody has a completely different philosophy of working out. And you can see the effective ones. Some are effective, some aren't, but that doesn't change the fact that everybody has their own way of seeing how to do it, and like
Hmm.
where to set the machine up, what angle to come in at, how to arch your back to get the right contraction for your lats or whatever, right? And so
Hmm.
it's like it's different for everybody, and they'll take that advice that they've been given, all the people that they've talked to, and they'll be like, well, this is what I'm gonna do because I like it this way. And
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know how that connects to what you were saying, but I felt like
Because I think
it did.
coaching and mastery go hand in hand. That's even
Yeah.
why those titles are so similar.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
know,
mean, I feel like you have to almost be a master to coach, not to be a good coach. Because you could be a coach and be pretty dog shit at the sport.
hmm
But if you've mastered the sport, I feel like you can be a pretty good coach.
Yeah. the This relates to coaches, but like it can also relate, the quote or whatever is from teachers. Who's the best student in the classroom?
It should be the
It's the
teacher.
probably
teacher. Yeah. Who's the best player? It's the coach.
Should be.
Except
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't always work out, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. It's like the master's failed more times than the student has tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
also like people Eddie Bravo, I think. Or somebody. I can't remember. Some jiu-jitsu guy, right? He started up his school, and when he did, because he got to teach so much, his ability exploded.
Mhm.
Like, because he was constantly teaching, constantly doing this, always refreshing himself about the methods and the
The
tactics and
nuances.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you literally, even if you're teaching, you're still learning. So you're
Mhm.
constantly a student if you're
Yeah.
actually teaching someone something.
Well, yeah, because people learn different.
Yeah.
So I can tell the whole class of demonstration, and there's probably going to be like 2 kids over here that I have to really like
You gotta
go
be
break
like,
it down a
yeah.
different way to them.
Like, well, you
Other people,
slide
you're
your
just kind
in
of like,
here,
hey,
and you
finish
lock it
this,
in,
do that.
you crank.
But
Whatever
yeah.
the fuck, yeah.
Hmm. And I think that's just kind of natural. But there's something so special about curiosity, like just being truly like exploratory with a subject,
Yeah.
you know, and wanting to see it from all these different angles, you know, is is huge.
Yeah.
And then just asking yourself, all right, so what is it?
Yeah.
Right? Because every perspective that I choose blocks out all the other shit. You know, it's kind of like how your eye can only focus on one point at a time.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of deal, you know. But what is something like? What is its nature? What is the true essence of it?
Josh
You
does
know.
this really well. What he'll do is when he sees something or hears something or uh, wants to know about something, he'll research the living fuck out of it.
Yo, that is very fucking true.
Like
Very
I
true.
told him all the facts, all the necessary facts about creatine. He comes
Mhm.
back and he starts telling me things that he read about creatine. I'm like, dude, you don't need to know all this shit. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You could
Yes.
have made some grand fucking discovery, bro.
Our bodies
You
literally
guys-
make creatine. I know that. It's fine. You just still take fucking
Yep.
creatine. So it's like
what is it? 1 gram, 1 milligram of creatine our body
something.
creates.
I don't fucking know. But so he'll
You take a
research
gram.
stuff,
Yeah.
and like he's the
Yeah.
person I go to when I'm like, yo, what should I buy? Or like if I want to research a camera, I'm like, yo, can you get me like 4
Yeah.
different camera options? I'll give him the
Will
fucking
admit,
price
I
point.
will admit,
And
I
then
did not end up researching cameras.
that's fine, cause me and Kemper we were talking out our asses one day, and I was like, we're gonna buy fucking new cameras, and so I told you to do that, but it's
That's
okay.
how you know
Yeah.
he's a good friend, bro. That's super honest,
But
right
speaking
there.
of cameras, I did see a good deal on one that had about everything y'all want. So, and it's like an SG5. I think it's same brand as yours, but it's like a GS5 or something.
There's a fucking
There's
R1, ZR1 or some shit. I don't know, but
um
there's a lot of really
there's
Panasonic's got really good cameras in general. But yeah, that's something Josh does. He immerses himself, and he gets he it was that curiosity thing that you were talking about. That's what made me think about that. Is because he will literally get curious and just fucking research and
yeah, that's
research and
great.
research.
I was on the phone with my grandpa yesterday for like an hour, and he told me to not stop because I've never been a book guy, and I've got books I've been trying to read, and um, but me and my grandpa were talking about how to like spend money, like investing on stuff, and what he's done, and what he thinks I should
Mhm.
do, and I was trying to get life advice from him, and he said just don't stop being curious. He said you're doing it perfect the way you are. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
And it's like we live in such a really cool time, even with things that
oh
are kind of trippy, like Siri. You know, if you tried to tell somebody about Siri back in like
100 years ago.
1970, I mean, they were a pretty groovy generation, but they probably would still be like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
Yeah, we talk to our phone and it talks back and it tells us cool shit that we ask
Yeah,
it.
you could ask it whatever you
You
want.
could also tell it to call somebody and it'll call them.
Yeah, like that would just blow their minds, right? But
There's
Or how
probably
about this one? We literally got cars that drive themselves. That one would blow fucking people away. Like, what? Self-driving
be honest.
cars? No, never, never.
yeah, that was like some Jetsons type stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So to be born into this time is a huge, huge blessing.
yeah.
So much
Oh
you can
yeah.
explore with convenience
This is the
and with
best time
comfort.
to be alive
Same, bro.
ever.
Yeah, it's definitely dope.
Holy shit.
I don't know. I think it was always the best time, right?
Well, yeah, the present
That's kind
is
of
the
the
best
joke of it
time.
all, right?
The present
Yeah.
is the best time because as you get further and further into the future, your life kind of gets a little easier.
Well, it's like, bro, now's the only time you got.
Literally.
You know?
100 years or 1,000 years ago, let's say, fucking that was the best time to be alive because you weren't in a fucking cave. You were in a hut instead.
Yeah.
You know?
You start thinking different. You know, with say like with my dad passing, you know, kind of observing like what were the great things, the great aspects
Yeah.
that I learned from this, and what were the things that were presented to me from like what I didn't get. And I don't know what made me think of that, but
we're
I'm
all
sorry,
we're
bro. I
all
just
fucking we got
popped in my
crazy
head. Well,
shit coming out.
I'm looking at
yeah,
cameras.
Stop looking at fucking cameras. You see, we
Dude,
talk
I
about
found a good
cameras and then he gets absorbed into fucking looking for
I
cameras.
dude, yeah, because I found the GH9. It's
oh,
like
that's what it was. Okay, because I was gonna say
it's a
like,
good deal on a
um,
GH9 right now, dude. It's an 80 megapixel
get out
camera.
of here, fucking Best Buy.
You
Okay, so
see what I'm saying?
I'm Geek
what
Squad.
the
What's
fuck?
going on?
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I guess like curiosity comes down to just asking questions, but having a lightheartedness about your expectations.
Yeah,
Like completely open to whatever the fuck it is, but like I don't know, I just want to see it and appreciate it,
yeah,
for how this thing is, what it is.
yeah. Be
And that's
less
what made me
concerned
think about
about.
my dad.
Go ahead.
I was always asking my dad, and that's why we seek, like mentorship
Hmm.
in life naturally. Is in doing that, we wind up getting this fuller picture that helps us to progress into whatever area we actually wind up in.
Yeah.
And it's the same formula across the board. It's just crickets tonight. You got a sleepy cast
Well,
going
this
Yeah.
on.
one we've been talking pretty
Well,
good, pretty good. I was trying to think of
yeah.
something to say or a new
I ain't been
subject to switch
talking
to.
too much. I don't got
Well,
too much crazy to talk about. Um,
I I keep circling back on the same thing, but it's because uh, I was talking to a mentor of mine, and he said that success is a frequency, and
Yeah.
I've talked a lot about vibration, and that's always been how I've thought, ever since learning about the law of attraction. But this whole me going to the gym and then having this new determination about doing things is really about keeping yourself on that edge that's forever stepping out from you.
Hmm.
And that's what success is. It's like, no, that's why they say the joy is in the journey. You're always a step behind. It just keeps going.
I love the journey, man.
And
You gotta
so
appreciate it.
that's why but I started looking at life as in like, hey, the time is finite, you know? And so what do I want to do and what can I do about it right now?
Yeah.
You no longer see things as these dead ends. Although there might be a detour, you might be. It's like I could have this task that I really, really want to get done, but I can't fucking seem to make progress on it. But I have this thing over here that seems to be working right now. It's like understanding that that's direction and appropriation of time, you know,
Mhm.
through your spirit. That's how your spirit is kind of guiding you. Like, see, dude, you're just butting your head on this wall continually over here, but all this other shit is working. Do this,
Yeah.
and it'll get you around that. That's not going anywhere, clearly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that made me look at this concept of like, all right, well, how do I want to spend my life? If I'm gonna have to spend my life like problem solving and enjoying that journey, or like to make it more enjoyable, rather, I need to look at what I want to be. I'm 27, so if I have like 25, and that's a low ball, but if I have like 25 good years ahead of me, shit, if I choose a new thing each year and go the full immersion like process, by the time I'm done, I could be a really well-rounded, um, good individual.
For real.
Shoot, you think about life expectancy is like 100 years, and
It's
if
definitely
you do
not.
that, yeah, it is.
It's 80. In
What?
America, it's 80 and it's actually dropped. But anyways, I
Hey
digress.
Siri, let me talk to my phone real quick. What is the life expectancy?
In
No,
America.
don't call.
Just
What what is the life expectancy in America?
She listening?
Yeah, she gave me some garbage answer.
life
You got slow,
expectancy
dude.
is 79.1 in 2020. 2021 life
Okay.
expectancy dropped for men to 74 in 2021. So it went from 80 to 74, like I said. That's on
Pretty
cdc.gov.
substantial drop.
Okay. Back to my point
Anyways,
though.
you can live to be 100 though.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say life expectancy is 100. Let's say you're supposed to live to 100 years old. All right. You still got two. You got two more of that 25 years where you can,
No, you got
dude. You got you.
you got 3 more.
we got we got 73.
No, because he already explained that first 25. Okay, well, from the point you are right now, you got three of those 25 years. That's 75 years of
It's
75
3
different
more of
things you could do.
yous.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'll
If
be a
you do
well-rounded
something new,
individual if I get that old.
yeah, you'll
You
be
know,
wise, bro.
the legacy that you
If
leave.
you do
That's why
something new each year, it's,
to find some people who have such a love, such a dedication, such a calling to like one art form that perform it for a long time though, man, those people are really unique, and the kind of success they have is different.
For real.
This same model of observing people in the gym, like observe the kind of success that you want, you know, the kind of person that you see, and you're like, oh, like if I really am looking at this as data, like what am I cherry picking from how each person is?
Yeah.
Like their soul is just so different. Some people, when they're in the room, it's just like the room gets warmer. It's like they hug you. You just feel welcome. And you're like, what is it about that fucking person? And every time I see them, they have this thing,
Yeah.
you know? And I think if you can look at life like that, you can navigate the pitfalls of trial and error, you know? So that way, at least if you try something and it sucks, you thought it was a cool topic, so it was
Yeah.
halfway cool, anyways.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of stacking and like leaning into what you like, because there's going to be a little something to it that you're like, all right, got to navigate.
Are you playing a fucking fishing line
Yeah.
during the podcast?
Yeah, bro.
The fuck are you doing? Have you been tested
We
for
gotta make.
ADHD?
No. I definitely should though. I
No,
definitely should.
they tell everyone they have that shit.
You're
I
not
just think
wrong, but if you
we're not,
actually
Yeah,
have
dude.
it, if you
Yo.
actually have it,
we're
you
not
know,
supposed to just be fucking
No,
sat
no, no,
down
no,
and
no.
learn.
I think our world. I think the world we live in. I think we
Diagnose.
uh overdiagnose for ADHD and like anxiety. But then we got like people with like what is it? Parkinson's,
Parkinson's.
What?
Parkinson's disease. Like we
What does that have to
I
do
Yeah,
with
think
what's your
I don't
point?
know. Just my point.
what?
I think we tell too many people they have ADHD and anxiety, and we don't worry about other illnesses.
Yeah. Okay,
Gotcha.
that's totally
I think
different
we,
than what I was
yeah.
gonna say.
I was like, where's he
It's
going with
easier.
this, man?
Well, no, and here, let me add on to that. You can get there's a higher amount of pills and stuff to help with ADHD and anxiety, but you don't have that many pills for these other more severe illnesses.
You want to know why?
Tell me why.
Because you don't make money treating severe illnesses with pills. You do it treating them with very expensive treatments in the hospital. But the way that you treat things that are psychological, you treat them with medications because that's the best way you can make money off of it.
So it's just another
I
part of the
just think
system.
we're not supposed to live
Another
in the
another
lifestyle that we're accustomed to, though. Like, as awesome as tons of like convenience is, I think it's like that's so you can make your life a little inconvenient in the one hand of like you have to be not necessarily busier, but have more activity that you
Yeah.
get done.
I
You know?
I slightly agree, or sorry, I slightly disagree with the idea of this is not how we're supposed to live. If you're looking at the people who fucking chased down elephants and killed them because they had to for food 1,000 years ago with a spear as how we should be living our life, that's not the case because it's like, well, we've constantly evolved. Our bodies just necessarily haven't caught up, or our minds haven't, because our things have just exploded in time. Like technology, like social media is really fucking new. So like our brains haven't quite evolved to the point where we can really comprehend and use social media as a positive tool, right? So it's like Twitter's like 15 years old, bro. It's pretty fucking
yeah.
young. And so like this whole new way of communicating through technology is weird. And you're right, fucking our lives are super comfortable and people need to kind of like push themselves a little bit to be uncomfortable. I think cuz that's kind of what I got from what you were saying. Um and doing a little bit more in their day other than just being like work and then sit on the fucking couch all goddamn day. No, rather go get up and immerse yourself into something that's a little difficult.
You got to
I
beat the
guess
matrix, man.
what I'm saying is that we're here to explore certain like crafts and things like that. Like, and we're supposed to spend our time doing different things. But so you don't want like a busier lifestyle where you feel like you would never have any rest. It's like learning balance because everything in nature is balance,
Yeah.
right? So like everything in this universe has duality. So inherently there's you if you learn to seek balance in a lot of things and then observe the things that reveal imbalance to you, which could actually be presented as a passion just as much as it could be like a passionate dismay for something, that you just really don't like this, you know? But that's the yin and yang aspect. And then there's the detached, you know, from that whole cycle evolution. And that's what happens.
Hell yeah.
We're just like the dedication.
I didn't think you were done with your sentence for a
No, I,
second.
I kind
I
of
thought you
just
were gonna add more.
no, I was gonna leave it there. But once you said
All
hell yeah, I
right.
was like, all right, I guess I'm going back in. I guess I'm
Yeah.
doubling down.
I don't know, man. Life in general is fucking wicked. It's fucking pretty
Yeah.
dope. And
Yeah.
if you're willing to just try new shit like we're saying, you'll start enjoying shit a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like,
being comfortable.
dude, with
Yeah.
working out and doing some of the shit that I've been doing lately, it feels great to do new shit. It's like I got into reading this year like Josh has.
Yeah.
And I read during my fucking workouts, and I'm like, I've never been a big book reader, but I've read, I think, 5 books this year, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking fantastic. I've learned stuff. I've improved my philosophy on the world. I've helped my mental health with it. I've taught myself skills about leadership and stuff like that. And it's like, this is fucking awesome. It feels great to absorb knowledge and learn and do it because just naturally fell into it. Just
Yeah.
naturally just started. I was like, I'm going to buy a book and read it during my workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And boom.
It's kind of like this intuitive problem solving process
Yeah.
that just happens. You know, who knows what the medium's gonna be,
It just comes to
but
you.
yeah, I know that. I just kind of started to realize as I was looking at my life, there's things that are subjects I really wanted, whether it was say like firearms or like weed, and I actually went out to like master that,
Yeah.
you know, and I might not have been like the horticulturist, right, the botanist guy, and I might not have been, a Navy SEAL over here, but hey, when I look at my journey and what I got to experience of it, I'm like, that was a really cool, enjoyable universe,
Yeah.
to learn to navigate. I'm like, all right, now so I start looking at different things like what's gonna be my next thing. Because I started thinking about the responsibility we have with being creative beings. Like we were born to create. And so when we're living our life and we're life becomes unenchanted to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not magical anymore. You know, you've given up that pursuit of creating something a little more. Something that's just outside of your reach.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Is falling in love with that journey and choosing things based on the fact that hey, if I have a mind like Dr. Seuss or like fucking Walt Disney, look at how many people's lives they changed just by being willing to try something. And it can be completely fucking abstract, but they just fell in love with this world of creating in this one way,
Yeah.
you know? And so there's really no right and wrong. But you definitely can't tell me that those were two dudes who didn't have a mind that was curious as fuck.
Yeah. You said something earlier, and I had something to say about it, but I forgot what it was. It was like 5 minutes ago. Oh well. If it's important
Must
enough,
have been rambling. I
yeah.
don't know.
If it's important enough, it'll come back.
Yeah.
But
And if it wasn't, fuck me.
it's not important enough. If I don't remember it, it wasn't important enough.
I guess.
I don't know. But
You
yeah,
know,
man.
it's just interesting because looking at study, the way that we learn differently. It's a vastly different experience reading a book, right? From even an audiobook versus having someone actually stand there and go, no, do it this way. And then them actually showing you and demonstrating. These are all like different levels of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And they all teach us the vibe, the energy of that experience is so different. But when you like read, you're so dedicated to this conversation that you're actually having within yourself as you're narrating this book to you,
Mm-hmm.
that it's really like you're talking with this person, um, and yet nothing's happened physically, but something is happening. You are doing something when you're reading, even though it just looks like this and your eyes move. It's like in the spirit realm, your brain is like downloading and infusing and doing reps and burpees and all kinds of shit, with whatever subject matter it is that you're reading.
Yeah.
When you go and you watch a podcast or a seminar, you get that human kind of experience. Although I'm not standing right there with this dude teaching me how to do something mechanical, I don't know, on a car. Like he's not leaning on the edge of the car with me, but I can look and be like, all right, that's close enough.
Yeah.
And that next level shit is true mentorship, you know. And I think it's a beautiful contribution because it takes time. Um, but when you start looking at how to contribute the best way that you can, that's when those um, that curiosity blends everything together. So say with like movies, right? It's like, all right, now I need a subject for a movie, so I can take this thing over here and then combine it with this medium of film to get this message out, that hey, there's this really cool thing,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. That makes sense? Or is that more of a ramble? I feel like I'm on the ramble.
It might have been a ramble, but it's like, it's like me putting working out and reading together, right? I'm
It's like
asking
my
you.
curiosity.
This is like the surface podcast.
As I'm over here playing with electrical tape.
Yeah, I'll be real with you, dude. Fucking once I noticed that, started bugging the fuck out of me, and it was hard to listen to Kemper. I was like, what the fuck is this kid doing, bro? We're doing the podcast right now, and he's making webbed hands out of fucking electrical tape. And then this got
I'm
me
over
on,
here talking to myself.
bro. Watching him make his hand a webbed hand out of electrical tape started making me think about making fucking webbed gloves and shoes to put on for swimming faster rather than putting on fins. And so just fucking webbed shoes that are like that. And then, yeah, so I went on a fucking thing, and then then I was trying to figure out what you were talking about, and I was fucking
This
losing
is
my
what
mind.
happens when a podcast melts down. You know what I'm saying?
And I was losing my
Nah,
fucking mind.
I think
We
our
just got to
brains
do
is
better than this,
melted.
boys. Okay? This is unacceptable.
It's still good. It's still content, dude. I was also thinking about this and I didn't say it, but I was thinking of something I said earlier, and I was like, damn, I might have sounded stupid. Okay. But then I had another thought after I said I thought I sounded stupid. I was like, there might be that one person out there that actually got something from that. So even if this is like a meltdown of a podcast, there might
Maybe
still be someone out there that is enlightened by this
it's just,
one episode.
I hope so. But it might be a fucking alien that finds this in a
It
time
might be
capsule
Susie that's medically
forever away from
diagnosed
now.
with ADHD out the wazoo, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys high right now?
Not in the least.
I am. A little bit.
Huh.
I was gonna, dude.
Don't do drugs, kids.
You want to know what I found out? This is my favorite combination of substances. All right, that I've
Water.
tried, and I've tried very few. Okay,
And
so I don't have very
pre-workout.
many to compare it to. My favorite
Water,
combination
pre-workout.
is THC and caffeine. Bro, I'm telling you, if you get like close to uncomfortably stoned, and then you drink a bunch of fucking coffee, you are on a different level of let's fucking go. It's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
Bro.
I used to go and find like certain sativa strains that made me extra nervous, and I would use those when I would go to the gym, especially if it was
That's
like
why
an
you had
edible.
anxiety, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah. But
wasn't because you couldn't lift weight.
no,
That's what you
a
made up
little
in
bit
your
of A, a little
head.
bit of B, okay, right? But this is the strategy. You eat the fucking edible so you don't know when it's gonna kick in. And you just go and you find whatever exercise you're doing. I guarantee you, once it starts kicking in, you'll fucking know. And you'll be like, oh shit. And you get that feeling and you just start trying to outrun the feeling that you have, but you're just stuck with it. And it's actually a
Bro.
great
Bro,
method
I
of
I
workout.
actually
What?
love working out high. I've done it a
Yeah.
few times and it's so fucking good. It's so cool. Like I did heavy squats like my first time ever doing it. It was like a heavy
Hmm.
squat day. So I was squatting like 245 or some
Hmm.
shit. And I'm doing that for like 10. I guess it's not heavy if I'm doing it for 10 reps. But I was doing it for 10 reps and I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. And I went to the whole fucking workout. I was like, fuck. That was the best workout I've ever had.
Yeah, by the time you leave like it's a fucking escape. It's like
Yeah,
you get out the door and you're like, I'm feeling good, but you leave like, get the fuck out of there.
yeah. It's a fucking good time. But
Yeah, the juju just stays there, and then you go and have a good day. Get a burrito or something.
I want a burrito, man. That'd be great right now.
Yeah.
Dang.
To
Some
be honest,
Fuck.
Taco Bell. Fucking
food is
four
the
four
move.
from Wendy's.
Food is the move. I got some steaks, some bacon wraps, or top sirloin. Fucking defrosting right
Woo!
now.
I've been
Okay.
sick the past week, dude. I can't eat nothing like that.
Get
I
fucked.
remember when I
Nothing.
was working at the dispensary, like when I was like 19 or 20, they had this company come by that used to sell like steaks that were already like pre-seasoned and it was like all hunted locally and everything.
Yeah.
Bro, they were so fire. I just remember they gave me one. And when we took it back, I was like, yo, this I didn't even know how to cook at the time. I just turned my shit on and just
Just
so
until it
yeah,
wasn't
it
bloody.
wasn't like fancy grill marks or
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
but it was smacking, and I was like, "All right, I know that's like legit," because I look at cooking steak and all that kind of stuff now, and I'm like, I'm fucking it all up.
Yeah. I love the way
Yeah,
I cook steak. But
yeah,
So when you were like 19, 20 working in a dispensary,
yeah. Oh, how was I?
uh, huh?
How was I able to? Is that what you're asking?
Nah. Did you get high while you worked?
Hell yeah, in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, dude, you were legally allowed to smoke there because it wasn't recreational. So the only way that you were in there is if you had a card, right? And so you
Yeah.
had some medical condition reason why you could smoke. And so
Oh, so you weren't really. There wasn't a risk, really.
that yeah, that's how I got hired there was I was coming in all the time. Not because I could smoke weed, but I was just coming in all the time. And I was bullshitting with
Not
them,
to
but
smoke weed.
after a while they hired me on and we would have people come in and they would let us test dabs right there and they would giggle and laugh because I was like they were way older than me, they're like all in their 30s while I'm like barely 19,
yeah.
so they're cracking up that I'm super down, I'm just like them, I listen to fucking 90s rap and shit like that, and so like we're sitting there listening to like old school Master P and like fucking do or die shit and just getting super ripped. And they would make me go help all the old ladies and then like laugh and be like, look at me so nervous right now because I had this inner guilt
Yeah.
about like, yeah, it was just stupid.
That's funny.
Dang, dude, you had grannies getting you high?
Well, no, no,
No,
no, no,
they were
no.
customers.
Granny
Oh,
would just
I
come in
know.
and need help. But back then,
Oh,
it
yeah?
was the nervous aspect of it was I had to do a lot of fucking math
Yeah.
because stoners don't they're just like they know how much money they have and they know they want way more stuff than what they can afford. So like you're gonna have to help me math my way through this, especially because at the time the people that we're dealing with are people that have like chronic pain conditions and things like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're always ripped, a lot of them, when they would come in and they're like, all right, I
Oh.
got this much for my budget for the month.
Is
Back
it
then it was
legal to drive while you're high?
uh
What's the rule on
no,
that?
but if you have your medical card, it's like there you can have it in your system, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a
Eh,
weird gray area.
yeah.
If you're driving all
Mm.
fucked up and stuff, they could probably get you for driving fucked up. But I don't know that
Yeah,
they could get you for like intoxication unless you were sitting there smoking weed while you're driving and get caught. Just
yeah. But if you take, like, wee little bit, like, that won't affect you, and it's in your system, you're pretty
people just
good.
have different fucking
Well,
tolerances,
here's the
dude.
thing, bro. It's
Yeah.
if you're not getting pulled over for driving like a dickhead while you're high, you're probably fine.
Yeah,
Here's the
true.
other thing, okay? And I don't want to be an advocate for impaired driving,
Me
but
neither.
it's fucking hella fun, okay? And so, like,
What?
that's the catch 22 in all of this. The real monkey wrench of it all is life is like we're kind of set up to do that, right? We're supposed to gather with the people that we love and then celebrate. That's like what everyone in life did. That's why we hunted and everything, you know?
Yeah.
So we're kind of set up to do that shit in the modern age. So we haven't figured out the way around it 100% yet, but we're working on
Buy a
it.
Tesla.
Anyway, when people would come in there, though, they had these really complex orders because they knew they had a
Really?
certain amount of money for the month,
Yeah.
right? And so they're like, all right, I need everything. I have $500. I need an ounce of this. I need two of those gummies. We'll take one of that chocolate bar, five of those
Bro,
cartridges.
who spends $500
That's
in
what I'm
how
saying.
long?
It was a different market at that time, dude.
And
Like,
people who need it,
$500 a
people who
month?
need that much shit.
look, there was
Yeah.
not near as many people, right? This is before recreation. Try and wrap your head around this, bro. Like, there weren't a
I
ton of
can't. I don't
people.
know.
Just
I
10
You
years
had
It's
to
not
ago.
where
get your
I've
you
never
had to
lived
get
in a
your
state
card.
where it's recreational, so
Yeah, but it's like
where it's legal in general.
it
Like,
makes it really competitive because there's not near as many people with cards, and a lot of them are big fish kind of spenders, right? And so you got to get those people to regularly come into your spot because I only have to help this person once a month. So it's a small amount of time that I have to invest, and I can really get a lot of profit out of this one purchase. And then the people that come in regularly are the float. You know what I mean? It's actually kind of the other way around, how you should think about it. But um, so when you would go into dispensaries back in the day, there was no OHA governing who recreational, so you could smoke on premises.
wow.
And yeah, and so you would go into a new spot and they would check you in. They'd punch your card information in, scan your ID and stuff, let you back, and generally they would hit you with like a gang of free shit because they want to keep you as
Hmm.
as like a client, coming back.
Yeah.
And at that time, this is all patient oriented. And so there's true clinics versus just like the business aspect of it. I'm talking about this in just like purely a business mindset, leaving all the ethics of morality out of it. So that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, that's a big ass fucking rabbit hole you could go down. Fuck.
Yeah, but this
Mm.
kind of all circles back to just being curious and um, wanting to learn an industry, what it'll do for you.
For real.
You wind up with this vast understanding of like, oh, that's how that whole fucking system works. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what can I do with it? Or what am I going to do with it? Sometimes it stumps you for a while, and then you see things always, you learn that might have been years ago, or maybe just a half-assed conversation you had that winds up being something that ignites a bond in a later conversation or gives you a break, whatever,
Yeah.
down the line. So it all gets recycled. I don't know. My back's starting to hurt though, you guys.
All right. Hey, bro. I mean, I think that's a good place to wrap it up anyways. We got an hour
Yeah.
of talking in with the boys.
Yeah.
You know, Josh's ADHD self is fucking distracting me every 24 minutes.
Anyone that stuck till this long, thank you for the rambles.
For real?
We
Yo,
love you.
heck yeah.
We appreciate you.
Of
Yo,
course.
if you lasted this long, leave a comment. I want to see a bunch of type curiosity in the chat. I want to see that. I want to see who the real ones are.
All
I
right.
bet you
I
20
guess.
bucks Zach's brother is gonna be one of them. Right now, I'm telling you.
We'll see where the real hoodlums at.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.